Morning, gardeners and homesteaders. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I come to you today with a dilemma. It's coming into one of my favorite times of year and a time where I ultimately get a huge dilemma. And I'm gonna have to kind of work through it, I think, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. So it's my favorite time of year because this is the time of year when the butterflies start coming out like crazy here. We get those yellow sulfur butterflies flying around all panicky. I mean, see it? I'm just joking. It's definitely flying around, but it's like we'll start seeing like one or two, and then we'll see like 50 in the yard at one time. It's crazy. So it's a great time of year because you kind of know that like all of your plantings and stuff like that have been going in the right direction. So we know that everything's good. And then we also get these guys. So it's just a little bit of joy for late summer, early fall, especially now that we have honeybees. That's a good indication that there should be some nectar and stuff coming in. So maybe make some honey in the future. We'll find out. But my big dilemma, and this is the problem, is this bed right here. So typically I'll harvest my sweet potatoes until early September. And we're in about the middle of August right now. It's been today is exactly 90 days since I planted them. And I kind of want to just get started on my sweet potato harvest. I want to go through and pull them, but I like the way that the bed looks, and it seems kind of crazy. You know, we design our garden beds for a certain look and production and all that stuff, and once you kind of achieve both of those, I feel like that's the money right there. But yeah, I'm standing out here today, and I went over there yesterday and looked on the back row of sweet potatoes, which are the Beauregards, which are great for making pumpkin pies and stuff. They're a little bit more of a drier consistency. And I know that we're going to be having those come up soon. So it's almost that time of year, you know, so I got to cure them before we can even use them. And I'm here to tell you, Papa Bear is ready for some some sweet potato pie. So this is a new love of mine. Once I had sweet potato pie, my wife finally got a good recipe and she made it, and whew, man, it was fire. So yeah. I think we are days away from harvesting our sweet potatoes. I'll come behind this erector set here and just show you a top view. You guys let me know what you think. How long would you wait to harvest these bad boys? And I'll show you the view that I got yesterday when I came over here. I had checked these before and I posted it, but I mean, here's the back row. So you can see, I mean, there's sweet potato coming up right there. And we haven't been watering them, so they are officially in their final stages anywho. So like, see how this, well, you can't see anything because of this one stupid leaf. See how this is all pulled up right here? There is sweet potato right there. So going all the way down the line, we see nothing but that, which is a very good indication. Now, I am going to tell you that I am not harvesting them today because it's 96 degrees outside and I need to go into this blue hive right here and look for my queen. So there was more than meets the eye to the issues with the queen, but we're going to go in there today and it's just so hot. I don't want to do that. Get super overheated, go in, cool down, come back out in a bee suit and do that and get super overheated again. It's too much. So this is the, I guess you could call it the late summer dilemma. So the other thing too is hurricane season has been very slow and they keep raising the forecasted number of hurricanes. And that worries me because what that's telling me, and none of them have to hit land or here or Florida or Georgia or South Carolina or anywhere on the East Coast or Gulf Coast. But if they do, I mean, we could have like rapid succession, you know, tropical depression, tropical storm, hurricane, tropical storm, hurricane. I wouldn't put it past it this year. The weather's been crazy. It's been super hot. I mean, we're talking, this will be our second month in almost all upper to mid 90s. So it's been really, really hot. And that just doesn't work well. And I was out surfing the other day and I sweated in the water. That's how hot it is. Let's say that again. I sweated while I was in the water. So it's a little warm, but that just kind of worries me for that. And the other issue is with this bed, if I can go ahead and get these out, then that means I can get my broccolis in sooner because they're ready to go in the ground. If they don't get in the ground soon, they're gonna be toast. So today is gonna be 96, tomorrow is gonna be 94, and then it's gonna be 87. And that's gonna be, I think, my window to get in here and work. I always like to say this and tell my wife and my friends this is like, the heat can't stay forever. It's gonna break, and when it breaks, it usually brings storms and rain. And so I'm just looking ahead and trying to see, like, whenever we go from 96 to 87 for a high, that's when I wanna plant, because we're gonna be getting rain, and then it'll be able to naturally water this stuff and keep it going. And that can keep us going in the right direction. But it's really hard to sit here and look at this and know that, like, I need to pull it soon, and I don't really want to do it. So there is that. But I just caught out of the corner of my eye something that I want to go look at. This is my son's bed. And remember, we planted these lima beans and we weren't going to leave them. We left a couple plants. And look at there. They have dried on the plant. This is how I envisioned this going down. So if I'm not mistaken, let's see, never grown these before, don't know, but this is how I had imagined it. We now have, well, you can't get my fat finger out of the way, dried lima beans to go right into the bag. So no preservation necessary. So that's a good thing. It's been so hot that we can't even begin to keep these carrots going. I can't keep the water on them fast enough. I'm watering every other day. I don't want to water every day because it's not good for the plants. So it's been tough. It's been a tough year as far as the heat goes. I know a lot of people are dealing with the same thing, but we're gonna do the best we can. And I think it is time. So this week, what I'm gonna do, and I may do it on here and I may not, but I'm gonna tell you just so you know, is I'm gonna plant my parsnips. I'm going to plant, what else? Parsnips, a couple more rutabaga, and then daikon radishes I'm gonna plant, and mustard and collards. We're gonna plant all of those. And for the past couple years, I don't know if you guys know where this video is going all over the place, isn't it? That's all right, it's okay. I had started seeds every summer, and I always say, like, you know, my fall seeds don't really turn out well, this, that, or the other. Well, this year I moved my seed starting stuff into my office, which is like outside of our main area. And what I've noticed, even though I'm using LED lights, it gets significantly warmer, and I have had nothing but like failure with my seeds for the most part. So it's been really hard to keep them going. I have had my cabbage and my broccoli going, but just barely. And so I think that's what it is. It's too warm. The lights are making it too warm for them to germinate and really thrive. Because in the fall I do the same, or in the winter, same thing, because my house is cooler and I have no issues whatsoever. So I think we kind of cracked that code. Now, last video we did come out here and we planted some rutabaga, and I just want to show you the update on those. Pretty encouraging considering it's been in the upper 90s ever since I recorded that video. Ain't much to look at, but we are officially growing rutabagas. They just germinated. So we're gonna keep that going. So what I'm gonna do this week is I'm gonna pull these ground cherries out, husk tomatoes, just get them out of there, get everything that's off the ground, and then we're gonna fully plant every single rutabaga seed we have. I'm gonna pack them in there super tight. My seeds are starting to get old, so instead of throwing them out, I'm just gonna lay them in real thick in that bed, and that's just gonna be a solid bed of rutabaga. And I'll thin them out or whatever, but as the seeds start to get older, I like to kind of sow them a little bit heavier throughout the garden so that they can keep kind of, you know, if one doesn't want to germinate, there's another one right next to it. You can always come out and thin them as needed. And I generally space them between 4 and 6 inches apart. So we already have 4 rows of drip tape here, but I'm gonna put them on double rows. So I'm gonna zigzag them down each row. So I don't know, you do the math. I don't really want to do the math right now in public. I don't want to embarrass myself, but hopefully it'll be a lot of rutabagas. We did come out, and I don't know if you remember the same video. We planted green beans and peas and cucumbers. I just kind of want to show you the update, and there's a reason why I'm showing you this. So there's the green beans. They have in fact started to grow. This one actually grew and then something ate the leaves off of it. So there is that. And then we also started cucumbers. So here's the cucumbers. So going down the line, we do have cucumbers going. These are just starting to go. I didn't expect them to do very well, but we have, well, I'll just show you. 1, 2 plants and 3 plants coming up. There may be, oh no, this one's actually doing really good. Check that out. So 4, and we can probably fill in the gaps a little bit here. Now's the time to really get them in the ground. And so this all kind of goes along with the whole dilemma thing. You know, should I replant? Should I not? You know, if you don't know what you're going to do on a trellis, just plant it. You know, I don't really have another plan B as of yet. I'm hoping to get some other kind of pea soon to put out here. But for right now, it's like, why not? You know what I mean? Now I am a little disheartened to see that something ate my brand new leaves off of my brand new plants for my green beans, but that's summer for you, man. That's part of the dilemma too, is like, do you want to fight it or do you not want to fight it? And it's brutal. But here you go. If anybody knows what a good butterfly idea is, check this out. I know it's not a monarch. I think it's a swallowtail. But see, that's why I like this time of year, man. They are out. They are so pretty. Such a pretty plant, or a pretty plant, pretty animal, insect. And just look at over here. Our bees are busy. So interestingly enough, I went out to my buddy's garden down the road today, and I was walking around and I could see my bees getting pollen from this basil plants. So here goes another dilemma. I planted purple basil this year, and I mean, it has barely bolted. Made me happy. Then I saw bees all over the basil that had bolted and thought to myself, I should plant regular old basil and let it bolt so I could help my bees. You know, it's like I can't win for losing. It's like I get really excited that I figured something out and then something changes. And that's the thing, is our gardens are always evolving. They're always changing. I've always got a different plan going, something like that. And it just causes these little hiccups. And I get these hiccups and I don't really know what to do. So I have to like talk myself through it. But this time of year, I got to be really quick to talk myself through it, because I got to get it in and get it out. You know, I just got to kind of move on. So it's been a little bit tricky, but I think that's where we're heading. The bees have definitely interested me a lot because I want to help them out. And when there's not a lot of pollen, it's interesting to see them all over. I mean, they were everywhere over there. So I was like, well, at least they're not going far. You know, we were looking on the map and they can supposedly fly like 3 miles away. But if they only have to go 100, 200 yards away, that's even better. So anyway, this sweet potato patch is well on its way. I've got to get the broccoli in the ground. It is, I mean, they're on life support right now. And if I don't get them in soil and give them shade, we are not going to have any broccoli this year. And that cannot be the case, because this is going to be a complete broccoli bed for the fall. I'd be curious to know what kind of dilemmas you guys have going on in your garden, you know, what you're dealing with, what decisions you're having to make that you're having a hard time with. It's always interesting to hear, because we all garden different. We all grow different things, different plants, different purposes, all that stuff. So like hearing what you guys are doing and how difficult it is for you to make a decision definitely helps, because it's easy for somebody on the other side to be like, oh no, you should do this. But ultimately it's your garden and you know what you want to have come out of your garden, how you want it to look and produce and all that. So it's easier said than done. And you also know how much work you want to put into it. That's the other thing. I realize that there are times of the year where I put a lot of work into my garden, and then there's other times of the year where I kind of just let it coast. And right now we're like right on the edge of that. I'm walking the fine line between letting it coast and starting to put a lot of work into it. And the only thing that's really stopping me from putting a lot of work into it is the heat, because there's just not but so much that I can or I'm willing to do to keep it going. I have to look out for myself first, and I have to know my limitations. And, you know, 96 degrees, I hit my limitation. I said the heat has to break at some point. There you go. Ask and you shall receive.